Welcome back to the John and Linetia Show.
Many thanks to last hour's guest, Hong Kong Phooey.
#1 super guy.
Hong Kong Phooey.
Quicker than the human eye.
He's got style, a groovy style, and a car that just won't stop.
When the going gets tough, he's really rough with a Hong Kong Phooey shop.
Hi-ya!
More
disturbing
news. The midnight premiere in Aurora, Colorado of The Dark Knight Rises. Basically, you had a massacre. You had a guy who was very well prepared, came with a lot of automatic weapons, and apparently he got in the theater
somehow.
I think ultimately he got in through the front, but made a line to an exit door at some point. Now we don't know like the timing. My guess is he gets in, goes right to the exit door, leaves out the exit door, props it open or something. Where outside he had his supply of guns,
an arsenal,
and his body armor. And at some point in the movie, because my understanding is the movie did start, so I'm thinking he went out there and it took him a while to suit up and everything like that. He comes in, he throws in a smoke grenade, and just starts blowing people away.
So sad. And these people didn't move because they thought it was part of the special effects.
Well, I think once the smoke grenade comes out and all that, and the shooting began, but you're basically sitting ducks right there, and he had an assault rifle,
yes,
an automatic weapon. So we're not talking about he was shooting a .22, 2 shots he has to reload or anything like that. He was he in a short period of time was able to do a lot of damage.
Yes. Also, he said that he called himself the Joker.
Well, that was reportedly, and we'll see. I mean, he dyed his hair,
he did. I saw the
orange.
I saw some of the
which, whatever. My quibble with that is the Joker really had more green hair. But ultimately, this was something he definitely planned because over the course of many months, he was getting shipments of ammunition. And he booby-trapped his
apartment.
Place. Yeah, the thing that I don't understand, how do you understand crazy? But, he was wearing body armor and everything like that. Booby-trapped the apartment. Did he want to be taken alive? I mean, usually, crazies like this, when they do this, they ultimately would want, police to, blow them away or something like that. There's an end game like that.
Yeah, I read, it said, though, that they caught him outside the door and he was just standing there waiting.
Right.
So I guess maybe he wanted to get caught.
It
looked like he wanted to take out more people.
Right.
Because if the police had have gone over there without warning.
Well, he stopped shooting at some point. So, although they got there, apparently they got there 90 seconds after all that started. So,
right, but, when they went to the apartment.
Oh, yeah.
They got warning, I guess, from him.
He said that the apartment was booby-trapped. So, and it was. And
that was... Wow, I've never seen this many weapons before on one person. Only time I see this many weapons is when my husband's playing Call of Duty. Oh my God. Are you serious? I mean, what did you do? Did he put things together? Did he get things over a period of time?
In Colorado, I mean, he bought his assault weapon at a store, something like an outdoor store. There's a waiting period for a lot of these things, but ultimately, they're just selling them. He bought that like you go to a store and buy a couch.
Didn't one of the guys who worked at one of those places said that he came in there and they said no to him because they felt something strange about him?
I think it was like a gun range or something like that, where basically, I think actually from what I heard something like they had called his house and he had a disturbing message, sounded, like a little crazy message on his answering machine or his voicemail. But, I mean, how do you respond to this? Right now, I mean, the NRA has pretty much got the country in the mode of, you can't be a politician and be for gun control too strongly.
Right.
You're going to be defeated in a lot of cases with the NRA.
Right.
The thing that kind of, that's most disturbing to me about it all is you've got a military weapon. You've got an automatic weapon that is used in the U.S. military.
Yeah.
There are few things that you can get that are military issue other than things that have been used and it's basically at the end of its life, and you go to a military surplus store or something like that. Right. You can't buy a tank and drive it around. You can't you can't get unexploded ordnance. So the fact that you can get this weapon that, let's face it, it exists for one thing, to kill people. It's not being used for hunting, so they can stop with the hunting thing.
Right.
I have no problem with guns being available. It's these mass killing guns. I don't understand the point. What is the point of allowing people to own, these kind of guns? We regulate drugs. Think about this, we regulate drivers more stringently than we regulate.
You have to have
guns.
Life insurance.
Yeah.
You have to have auto insurance.
I mean, granted, with guns you have to have a fire owner's ID card, and you do have to have some kind of a background check. But that's just just for you to own as many guns as you want. Ideally, I mean, when I buy a car, that individual car has to be registered. I buy a second car, that has to be registered. And then I have to have a license for the state. And then I have to have a sticker for the city, okay?
And a sticker on the license plate.
You have a fire owner's identification card, and you can buy as many guns as you want. And those aren't tracked at all.
It's so sad.
It's amazing. It's sad. It's horrible. Is there anything that can be done? I guess, movies, stop showing movies.
That's really sad. I was thinking about, I'm going to get to a point where there are going to be metal detectors at the movie theater. Yeah. No, I don't want it to get to that point.
Which is totally ridiculous, because this guy went through the front and then propped open an exit door. Instead of actually searching people at the front, which they started doing, and started to prevent people from wearing makeup going to the movies or costumes, instead of doing that, why don't we fortify the unattended exit doors? Or make it so that if anybody hits the exit door, an alarm goes off and then people come rushing to the area.
Well, it shouldn't have to be that way. That's the thing. It shouldn't have to. Why do we have to live in a society where we're afraid to go somewhere
Because
now?
we do. Because we're spending less and less on mental health issues. We're in a society in which we have to have all of our food and drugs that are sold in the stores with tamper-proof, tamper-resistant, caps and all that, because we're living with people side to side who just may be crazy, and ultimately it's protecting ourselves versus doing something for them.
And the police still have no motive.
You know what?
There's no motive.
If we had a motive, would we care? Would we know? Oh, he did it because of a bad breakup, or oh, he did it because he was, let's face it, he's mad at society, okay? He's, a loser in life and, blaming everybody else.
But that's the thing, he's not. He was like a neuroscience student.
It doesn't, he could still think that way. Depending upon where you're at, you could look at it and go, oh my gosh, he had possibly a great future, but what, in his mind, maybe he didn't.
Yeah,
maybe he is mentally unbalanced.
Really
or
sad.
Maybe he's just some kind of you could say a thrill seeker, a publicity hound, especially since he was waiting for police, okay? Where he looks at it and he goes, they'll remember me years from now. Although actually I don't even remember his name, but maybe it's Osama bin Laden, John Wayne Gacy, and
his last name was Holmes.
James Holmes. That
Holmes.
was it.
Yeah. So sad. So sad. I feel sorry for the families that have lost loved ones. This is just senseless. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, let's come on back to prayer. Let's go on back to prayer. Really, really. And the Dark Knight sales, they were not affected.
Well, of course they shouldn't be, because the movie had nothing to do with this idiot, this crazy guy.
But Christian Bale did go down there.
Right, he visited some of the victims. Yeah, that was nice. That's a good gesture.
Went down there, and I think the movie franchise donated money to them.
Donated a lot of money to the victims' fund.
So
of course.
I just hope this works out. This is really sad.
All right, we'll be right back after these words from Chick-fil-A, who want to remind everybody, no homo.
You're listening to the John and Linetia Show.